What started as a simple visit to a friend turned into a nightmare for an elderly couple in San Antonio. This is the story of Ramon Najera, an Air Force veteran who gave his life to protect his wife from a deadly dog attack. Today on CrimeThread, a peaceful San Antonio street turned into chaos when two dogs attacked an elderly couple, leading to a tragic loss. But before we dive in, help us grow by hitting that subscribe button. Let's go. Ramon Najera, an 81-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran, was the heart of his family. A proud Texan, he lived his life with dignity and courage. Juanita, his devoted wife of many years, was his constant companion. On that February day, they stopped by a friend's house, unaware they were walking into a tragedy that would shock their entire community. The couple stepped out of their vehicle when two American Staffordshire Terriers charged at them. Ramon, in his final act of love and bravery, shielded Juanita from the ferocious attack. Neighbors rushed to help, one using a rake and another turning on a hose, but the dogs wouldn't relent. When police and firefighters arrived, they jumped into action, using emergency tools to fight off the attacking dogs. Despite their heroic efforts, the situation remained dire. One firefighter sustained injuries while trying to intervene, showing just how relentless the dogs were. By the time EMS arrived, Ramon was critically injured. Despite their efforts, he succumbed to his wounds. Juanita and two others, including a firefighter, were hospitalized. The dogs weren't strangers to trouble. Records revealed multiple prior bite incidents, yet their owners, Moreno and Abilene Schnieder, did nothing to secure them. Complaints were ignored, and no dangerous dog designation was pursued, a decision that had deadly consequences. Moreno and Schnieder were arrested shortly after the attack and charged with multiple counts, including dangerous dog attack causing death and injury to an elderly person. The couple defended themselves, claiming their dogs had never acted this aggressively before. But with multiple prior attacks on record and a poorly maintained fence that allowed the dogs to escape, the court saw this as reckless negligence, not a freak accident.
There was never an aggressive bone in the body like that. When I saw that video, I did not recognize those dogs. We fixed it. We did everything. Like, we never left our gates open. This was a freak accident. This was not something they caused. The damn Shamu at SeaWorld. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected him to kill his trainer.
Neighbors testified that the dogs had shown aggression before, with several instances of frightening behavior. Their accounts directly contradicted the owner's claims of unpredictability, painting a clear picture of negligence that led to the tragic attack. Eventually, and as part of a plea deal with the prosecution, the couple pleaded guilty to the charge of dangerous dog attack causing death, while the second charge of recklessly causing bodily injury to an elderly person was dropped. Moreno was sentenced to 18 years in prison, and Abilene Schnieder received 15 years. The court ruled their actions showed conscious indifference, a lack of care that directly led to Ramon's death.
What happened to Mr. Najera was an unspeakable horror that is going to resonate in our community for a very long time. Unlike any other cases I have presided over, this one is different. It is different because we're not dealing with an intentional act. We're not dealing with a drive-by shooting or any other type of murder. It was a case of criminally negligent behavior. On the one hand, we had the City of San Antonio Animal Care Services swearing under oath, giving testimony that left me with the impression that this was about a missing affidavit, that none of the previous bite victims came forward to declare the dogs dangerous dogs. After hearing from the neighbors on Decla and Darby Street, I find the testimony I heard from the City of San Antonio very difficult to believe. What I do believe is the people from the West Side neighborhood. I find the testimony of David Avila, Fernanda Esparza, Deborah Flores, Sylvia Avila, not only credible, but very persuasive and compelling. The City of San Antonio is not on trial here, and they will have their day in court and their lawsuit to contend with. But about this case, what I do have to say is that it's not about a missing affidavit. Clearly, our city has a lot of work to do to provide services to deal with responsible dog ownership. To echo what most, if not all, the witnesses testified to, this was preventable. If the first line of defense fails because the dog owners are not responsible, the second line of defense should not have failed. Mr. Moreno and Ms. Schnieder, this is about responsible dog ownership. It involves not only taking care of your dog, but ensuring the safety of the people in our neighborhoods, in our communities, not only the people, but other pets in the neighborhood and communities. We all have that responsibility to each other, and you failed at that. Mr. Moreno, it is the order of the court that you will be sentenced to 18 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Institutional Division. There is a $5,000 fine, no restitution. The victim has not requested restitution. You are prohibited from owning or possessing any dogs if you make parole on this case. This is a plea bargain case. However, you have the right to appeal the rulings of the court on a pretrial order. Ms. Schnieder, your sentence is 15 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Institutional Division. There is a $5,000 fine, no restitution because Ms. Najera does not want it. You too are prohibited from owning or possessing any dogs if you make parole. Both of you are also ordered to have no contact with Debla Street and Darby Street. Yours is also a plea bargain case. However, you have the right to appeal the rulings, pretrial rulings of the court.
During the sentencing hearing, both Christian Moreno and Abilene Schnieder displayed little to no emotion as the judge delivered their sentences. Christian, in particular, seemed indifferent and even appeared to have a childish demeanor, which stood in stark contrast to the gravity of the charges and the emotional weight of the case. The tragedy shook the neighborhood, prompting calls for stricter regulations on dangerous dogs and owner responsibility. For the Najera family, the loss is a wound that will never heal.
I'm the widow of Ramon Najera. I would have never imagined that I would be calling myself a widow at this time of my life and in this tragic way. PTSD is now something I will have to deal with the rest of my life. Extreme loneliness and emptiness will also be a part of my life. You both took a big part of my life away. You took my better half away. When my husband was brutally and unexpectedly taken from me, I was blessed to have my daughter, Anna. She lives here in San Antonio. She took me into her home and took care of me. She would help me bathe. She would feed me, take me to my appointments. And you know why I needed all that help? Because when your dog attacked me, I could hardly walk. My whole body would tremble. I could hardly get out of bed without any help. I had to have help every day. My son, Carlos, a retired Marine, he had to put his life on hold. His family, he had to come down and take care of me.
The court's decision serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of irresponsible pet ownership. We may never fully understand why the attack happened in the first place, but one thing for sure, justice has been served. As this case comes to a close, we hope this video did justice to the Najera family and the pain they've endured. Responsible pet ownership and proper precautions are not just a duty, they're a necessity. Let's hope this sends a clear message that justice will hold those accountable for their negligence. Thank you for watching this episode of CrimeThread. Please help our channel grow by subscribing and stay tuned for more compelling true crime stories.